Hello and welcome now to this video. So in this video, I kind of want to talk about NI again. I have talked about it before on my channel, but I kind of want to divulge into it a little bit more so that hopefully people can get a better understanding of what NI really is. Because I feel like far too many people have this idea that NI is this mystical, shaman function, when in reality it's really not. It's really very different to that. But what kind of gives NI that quality is the way that it kind of manifests itself in reality, in external reality. And what I mean by this is NI is introverted, meaning it happens primarily inside of you, inside your mind, right? So it's very difficult to convey, but I'm going to try my best here. But NI basically it's a vast ocean. Think of it like an ocean. Think of it as a vast ocean of information, right? You have all of this collected data from the use of, SE, because NI is always tied to SE and NE is always tied to SI, but, we're talking about NI here. So you have this vast collection of data because of SE, and possibly your other functions as well, depending on if you have TI, TE, FI, or FE. But for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to do SE. So SE is going to draw in a lot of information. It's going to perceive a lot of things, and it's going to basically add it to the collection of what's in the ocean of NI, right? So think of NI as the ocean, and all the SE information it's all the fish, plural of fish is fish. It's all the fish swimming around and the coral and, the seaweed and all that shit that goes on in the oceans, right? That is all of the bits of information that your SE has collected over time that now exists and lives in this ecosystem that is your NI, your ocean. And basically, the way NI kind of works is because it has all this shit swimming around constantly, from time to time, more often than not, if you're an NI dominant specifically, you're going to have shit swimming around in your mind, all the fish in your ocean, and then you're going to hone in on one specific fish that's related to what you're talking about. The information is related to something going on in the world, right? And it'll pick it up. It picks it up. And then that's when another function will take over and kind of hone in on it. For example, for INFJs, I use TI. So NI will be navigating the oceans and a fish pops into my vision and I start focusing on it, and TI takes over and I can laser focus in on that fish or that information, right? Basically, it's that bigger scope vision of your mind's eye is what NI is. So a really good example that I read online, and I think it really does a great job conveying what NI looks like. Do any of you remember those Magic Eye books? The ones with the weird looking image that you're supposed to stare at until you see some 3D image of some kind of a tree or a cow or some shit? That's basically NI. So what it is NI is you staring at the image, and it hasn't really popped into 3D form yet. So you're just kind of idly looking at this picture, and you're just trying to focus in on it. And then very abruptly, you focus in and you see it now. And it's you didn't see it before, and now you all of a sudden you see it, and you're holy shit, oh my God, it's a picture of a car. I can see the car, it's clear as day, right? This is what NI looks like. This is why when you're talking to NI dominance specifically, you can have a person who might on the outside appear to know exactly what they're talking about, and know exactly what they're saying and how they're getting there or whatever, unless they rehearsed it beforehand, they did not. They just have the information swimming in their mind already and have a vague idea of what they're trying to get to, and then it'll all of a sudden hit them. It's like an aha moment, like, oh, that's the thing. That's the connection that I was looking for. That's the idea that I was looking for this thing, right? That's NI. It's very internal, so, it's introverted. So you're not going to see this happening. It's an experience. If you don't really have your NI very well developed, let's say it's, your third or fourth cognitive function in your stack, or it might even exist in your shadow. There's a fucking mosquito in here. Or it kind of exists in your shadow stack. So it's not like as developed. It's not as easy to grasp what NI really is and what it really looks like. But from an NI dominant, this is what it is. This is what it looks like, right? In practice, it's, this is why I do my videos in a stream of consciousness fashion, because I am relying very heavily on NI to do a lot of the guide work for me, right? I go into these videos unplanned, unscripted. I don't really have a set goal in mind. I just know what I want to talk about, more or less. But as I go through the video and I start making those mental connections in real time, I'm able to say things and sound more or less like I know what I'm talking about. These are secrets of the trade, for me specifically. I will get to a point where I will be more structured in my videos, because you can't really do stream of consciousness videos long term, because if you're trying to do informative videos, you can get a little bit lost, especially because intuition is the idea generator. So I got ideas going on all the time. But anyway, point is, NI is not necessarily the laser focus where you really hone in on a idea or concept or topic or whatever. It's more so the scope. It's like the lens. It's like, NI is constantly like on the lookout for connections. And, a lot of the times when you have a very specific idea in mind, it's going to exist in this ethos in your mind where it's kind of like this fucking mosquito. It exists in this ethos. This idea will exist in this ethos in your mind where you can't quite put your finger on it. It's like at the tip of your tongue what you want to get to. And NI is going to do its pattern recognition, and it's going to do its focus in that it does because of the bigger picture viewpoint that it has, because it's an ocean. The ocean has all this shit swimming in it, right? And at some point in your field of vision, your mind's eye, a fish or something is gonna, float on by in front of you. And then that's when the connection is made. Oh, that's the fish I was looking for. That fish is now going to, or that bit of information, metaphorically a fish, that bit of information is the connection that I needed to get to the point that got at the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't quite put it into words. This is also the reason why NI dominants are typically good at predicting things, because we already have that pattern recognition. And this is also why NI dominants kind of seem like we know what we're talking about, but in reality, we're kind of like I said, unless we rehearsed it or we went over it beforehand, it's happening in real time, right? This is where this comes from. Anyway, this is a shorter video, but I hope that this video kind of draws into what NI actually is, because there's a lot of misinformation that exists out there, and a lot of people are confused with what NI truly is, and I have dedicated my channel to try and simplify a lot of these like more complex ideas and things. I know there's really great YouTubers out there who talk about NI and describe what NI is and stuff like that. But typically it's INFJs that do this. There's some INTJs that also do this, but the ones, like most of the videos I've seen come from INFJs. And the thing with INFJs is that the more TI heavy INFJs are going to describe things in a very, like, I hate to use this word because it sounds so insulting, but it's true. It's in a very pretentious way. So it's like their vocabulary is going to be very like intelligent, I guess, right? And you know, the layman person is not really going to understand unless they've studied, you know, these things, right? So that's kind of what my YouTube channel is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get these complex ideas, really understand them, and then try to convey them for the layman. But I hope that I have done a decent job, at least, at trying to convey what NI is. It is not what a lot of videos on the internet, on YouTube, try to describe it as like this woo-woo shaman, mystic, you know, I can... a fortune teller kind of thing. It's not really like, it's not really that at all. It's way more simple and way more less interesting, really, than that. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have the capacity for that, but any function has the capacity to be predictive. You know, a TI user, a dominant TI user can predict things, right? Using logic. An FI dominant person or an FE dominant person can do the same thing, but in different capacities. I think everybody has the capacity to predict things, to see things, to notice things. I think it's very, very foolish that people want to be something just because there's a lot of misguided information online, when you should be trying to understand yourself, not just trying to be something just because it sounds cool, based on how the internet made it sound, right? Anyway, that's a whole other topic. But thanks for tuning in. And as always, the subscribe button, wherever it is for you, up, down, left, right, pink and blue. Oh my God, look at that. I got new nails. They're pink and blue hair, pink and blue. Anyway, DDR, wherever that subscribe button is for you, and toodaloo. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.